growing up on the west side of Detroit, my parents always told me that there was nothing beyond my reach. They said that if I would be committed, do what it takes, I could have whatever I wanted. So I worked my way backwards. I knew what I wanted to have. $3 billion. Who doesn't want that, right? And I knew what I wanted to do. I loved music and I loved business. So I wanted to play jazz and build companies. And I knew exactly who I wanted to be. Batman. Because when you have a choice to be yourself or be Batman, the question is easy. Always choose Batman, right? And so I started to build a Batman life, and it was actually pretty fun. So there's Batman, who inherited a $1 billion fortune. I accumulated tens of thousands of dollars of student loan debt from an Ivy League university. Cool. And then there's Bruce Wayne, who ran a $1 billion company. And he grew it, and it was awesome. Well, I've helped hundreds of companies, ranging from small startups and entrepreneurs, ranging to multi-billion-dollar companies, grow and build their brands. Not too bad for Batman status, right? And then lastly, you have the Batman, the Cape Crusader, with all of his splendor, even including the Batmobile. Well, instead of putting on a onesie and a mask, I decided to pick up a saxophone and soothe savage souls with the sweet sounds of jazz. So 2 out of 3 ain't too bad for Batman, and for what it's worth, it was working great. I was becoming Batman. Until one day, while working at a global advertising agency, I was due for a promotion. I mean, I was killing it, crushing the job. If you know how that goes, checked all the boxes, and then my manager comes to me, and she says, you didn't get the promotion. Now, I was taken aback because I'd done everything right. I was a leader amongst my peers. My clients loved me. How could I not get this promotion? And what she said next completely tore me apart. She said, you didn't get it not because of performance, but because you play music at night. And I was completely taken aback. They said I wasn't committed because I spent my personal time pursuing my passion. I was devastated. And so I looked to Batman again, because that's what we do, and I said, I'm going to truly become Batman, and I put on the mask. You see, by day, I was Jeff Ponder's marketing executive startup guy. At night, I was Jeff Ponder's the second jazz saxophonist playing jazz to soothe the savage souls. And it worked out okay for a little bit, until I started realizing that I wasn't really that happy at work. And music didn't do the same thing for me. When people clapped after you play a solo, and it's like, I guess thanks. You see, it just wasn't working. So I went back to Batman, and I looked to him one more time, but what I saw this time completely changed me. Because when you really think about it, Bruce Wayne and Batman, they're kind of messed up. You've got Bruce Wayne, the billion-dollar playboy, who's emotionally bankrupt. No friends, no family. He doesn't even have a dog. And then you've got Batman, the savior of Gotham City, the Dark Knight, the Cape Crusader. But in real life, what did Batman actually do? He fought the same bad guys over and over again. And was Gotham City ever really rid of crime? When I looked at him, I realized Bruce Wayne and Batman were a failure. And I was really turning into Batman. You see, as I prepared to get laid off from my cushy agency job, and my stage was suffering, and my playing started to suck, even my relationships were failing. My marriage was on the rocks. And I found myself curled up in a ball on my kitchen floor in front of the refrigerator crying, God, why does my life suck so much? But I realized I spent so much time focused on what I wanted to have and what I wanted to do, but I didn't invest in who I wanted to be. You see, I was so hard trying to be Batman that I forgot what it was like to be Jeff. And so as I picked myself up off the floor, and I walked into the bathroom, dried the tears, because Batman can cry too. I looked in the mirror, and I stumbled across an idea that completely changed my life, and I want to share it with you today. I realized I needed to own my B. In fact, I needed to own my 3 forms of B. And I'm not talking about an English lesson here. I'm talking about owning myself. And so I started with the first. Who am I? As I stood in that bathroom, picking my pieces up, can I look at my history, my heritage, my successes, and my failures, and be okay with me? Could I love the man that was staring right back at me? Next, I looked at who I want to be, my aspirational self. Instead of Bruce Wayne, could I be my own mentor by looking at who I wanted to be 10 or 20 years from now? Could I paint my own picture of what success could look like? And this was good. I knew who I wanted to be. I knew who I was. But the power lied in the third idea. Who am I becoming? You see, when I look at the fruit of my thinking, my decisioning, and my actions, when I follow that path, where does it take that man? You see, the goal of my life is my becoming has to be consistently aligning with my desire to be my aspirational self. And if it's not happening, I'm doing something wrong. I realized that I had spent so much time trying to keep my worlds apart that they were tearing me apart. I didn't want to be business at day and jazz at night. I wanted to be all business, all jazz, kind of like a professional mullet. You see, what I found is that jazz made my business better. My ability to improvise, to collaborate with others, to listen actively, made me better in the business world. And for what it's worth, my clients wanted to come see my shows when they started finding out about it. On the other side, business made my music better because I didn't get in bad deals. I picked smart people to work with, and I never forgot about what my client wanted. I wanted to be 100% me, to bring my worlds together rather than tear them apart. In fact, Professor Jeff DeGraff, the Dean of Innovation at the Ross School of Business at the University of Michigan, go Blue, he says that when we bring disparate concepts together and allow them to collide in magical moments, we get innovation, creativity, and discoveries that would have never, ever happened. That's exactly what I wanted from my life, not Batman. So the question becomes, who are we? When you look yourself in the mirror, can you accept the person that looks back at you and say, I'm okay with who I am right now, today? When we think about what we can be together tomorrow as a room, as a city, as a region, as a state, as a country, as a human race, can we paint a picture that is more beautiful than what we see today? And can we deliberately manage our decisioning to think better, make better choices, and make better actions to actually move us closer to who we can be? Because what I learned is that when I own my 3 forms of B, I unlock my superpower. And I believe you can too. And when we do, we can all be better than Batman. Thank you.